Hola, 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 beautiful people. It's me, Maris, and I am here today with a Thursday reading. Kind of a preview. We're going to call that a preview for the holidays, or for December, because that's tomorrow. Happy November 30th. It would have been my Tia Jane's birthday today. Her birthday was November 30th. And also kind of looking into a preview of the weekend. But I want to start out with a smudge because everybody could use a good smudge. And it's Thursday, so don't forget to do a little bit of cinnamon. Blow some cinnamon in your front door with your prayers of prosperity. Oh, my hair looks crazy. And you can see the smoke there. And thinking about all the good things that I'd like to happen today. We're going to use, good morning, Serena. We're going to be using the Christ Consciousness deck. I love this deck. Alright, didn't let it go too smudgy with that for the purpose that, I'm in the front office, or the front area of the studio, and I didn't want to smoke out the people upstairs. They always think that I'm smoking marijuana when I sage, and I'm just like, no, we're saging. So do me a really big favor today. Love this video. So it pushes it up in the algorithm. And then make a cool comment. Serena made a cool comment. She's watching from Yukon. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm always interested in where people are watching from. And I'm kind of like, come on, Jesus, talk to me. And I was like, okay, one. All right. One fell on the floor, quickly scooped it up. Okay, there's two. So, again, this is like a preview. Okay, 3, 4. I have to kind of do it in the way that they fall. I have to pick them up in a particular way. Okay, see if we have anything else. Okay, we do have some other left to say. So, grab your coffee, tea, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Coke, whatever it is that you partake of in the morning time, because we got a handful here and they're going to be in rows of 3. So we're going to be looking at, we're going to start with where we're coming from and where we are going to. And the first card is going to be about where we're coming from, as in what led us to where we are today. Let's rock and roll. Okay, so our first card here is spiritual protection, and it's in an upside, or right side up, and it's about having the armor of God, being spiritually protected and taken care of. That you may feel like you're in a mill of a hess sometimes, but without that protection, we're even in a more significant mill of a hess. So this is about us being a little bit cushioned from some of the negative stuff going on in our life, that we've been cushioned and protected. Now, resurrection is our obstacle card, and what I'm looking at in here is coming back to life. That in that resurrection, you start seeing things in a different perspective. So you've come out of some of, when I'm saying coming out of that protection, It's some things are being unveiled and you start to look at things, or you've been looking at things in a new or different perspective. Now, what's really cool is that we have this Joseph of Arimathea, who was an incredible energy, entity, being in all of the Christ consciousness when Christ had his moment, his time here on earth. Joseph of Arimathea is the one that was one of his prize students, was doing very well as a student, and he was also socially very well. So this is, I'm going to say in here, is that you're connecting in with people that have a significant role or place in your life. So when we're coming from a place where we've been a little bit sheltered, we're going into a rebirth, and then what we're doing is we are aligning with people that are very significant in the way that our life is playing out at this time. Now, going back to Joseph of Arimathea, so he was the one that went to Pontius Pilate and asked Pontius Pilate if he could have the body of Jesus after the crucifixion. And then he was one of the ones that was in there preparing Jesus's body for burial, and then the resurrection that is celebrated in most Christian churches. Now, what we're coming into, and this is where we are now, and I'm going to say, look, guys, we're seeing things, 2 cards upside down coming up, and I'm going to go ahead and take that one off. And what we're looking at here is stand up, and this is about being focused and having a really good direction. And then Jesus upside down is in your obstacle. And so what I'm looking at in here is that even though you've been given that spiritual protection and cushioning, and you've been given new perspectives, that you're not really 100% committed to those new perspectives. And in fact, you're being distracted in other ways. You're being distracted from being on that focus and having that goal. So it's like you might wake up and say, today I'm going to start I'm going to start doing keto. And then today rolls around, you come into work, and man, they've got a donut buffet, a donut and pastry buffet. Is there any bacon? No. Is there any sausage? No. Or if there is, it's all associated with bread. So, hey, Jack, good morning to you. So when you're trying to go keto, but everything that is there in front of you, presented to you, is non-keto, that is that distraction that we're looking at in this second card. So it's saying that you're still not really focused, and that you're having a difficult time from not being distracted. Now the help card is, and I'm going to say it like, and it's almost like my mother in the back of my head going, you know better than that. I raised you better than that. And that's kind of the energy that's coming in here, where it says respond softly and the gentleness. It's about almost being placed into a rude awakening. That you have to kind of open your eyes and look around and go, what in the heck have I been doing? Why am I not where I could be if I wasn't feeding into these distractions? So this is showing this current energy right now is really feeding into distractions. And when we have a lot of distractions, we're not going to be on our game. We're not going to be doing the things that we have good intentions of doing, but we're often placating those distractions. Okay. Oh, this is so funny here. Because this is kind of continuing on here. And this is saying these distractions are really hardcore. They're really meant to keep you off your path and to keep you focused on something other than where you really want to go. And it's kind of playing into it where you're not, even though you're protected and you've got all of this, and I'm going to call it luck, fate, not fate, but luck, blessings, whatever, protection, they're guiding you, you're not taking advantage of it. You're actually feeding more into the minutia or feeding into distractions as opposed to feeding into where you could be going. And so holy anger comes through. And I'm going to say on this, when I'm looking at this, the first feeling that I really picked up on there was about being having some self-shame, being ashamed that you're not where you could be. And what I'm going to say on this is when I'm looking at that, because it says it's holy anger, and I'm going to say this. Anger is not a negative emotion. People often confuse and say, oh, anger is so horrible. It's so bad to be angry. You can never say, I feel angry, because that's just so negative and it brings down your vibration. And I was like, anger allows you a perspective of seeing that things are not the way that you want them to be or the way that things could be. Now, I'm not using the word should, I'm using the word could. And so when I'm looking at this, the energy that I'm picking up on here is that it is really important for you to get into a point of self-realization. And I don't like to use the phrase check yourself, but check yourself. Look in the mirror and say or ask yourself and say, what am I doing that I could be doing better? The door's unlocked, come in. And so it's, again, that self-realization, looking in there and saying, what could I do better in my journey, on my path? And that is what that is saying. It's like, it's okay to self-check. And it's okay to say, that was a silly choice, or those were not the best benefits for me. It's okay to acknowledge that. But it's even more important that we take that acknowledgement and we make the changes that we want to see. It's going to be a struggle. Because I'm going to say in this first card, it's the children card, and it's almost about being, honoring your inner child, or loving that weakness and vulnerability. But when I'm seeing it upside down, and then next to this awakening and transformation, this is, and the phrase that just came through was, when I was a child, I played with toys, and I now no longer play with toys. Even though I always say it's a good idea to get out and play, on this is that sometimes we have to leave our childish ways behind in order to embrace, and this is what I've got as your obstacle, is that awakening and transformation. So what I feel when I'm looking at both of these cards together is that it's an adult awakening. You awaken to a different way of thinking and being. Now, whoops, it was this way. The garden is our last card in through here, and that is about receiving and healing. And what I'm feeling through here is that this is going to be a very big time of growth for you. That you will be recognizing those things that you have been holding on to or carrying are no longer suitable. You got to leave the toys behind. They're a distraction that have kept you back from being who you really are and who you intend in your life to be. This card was an extra card, and I'm looking at it, and it says sacred sexuality. Yeah. Healing and connection. And I guess that's where I'm saying I feel like this is such a growth into being our true adult self. Um, on that, yeah. I'm like, I'm not getting like it's a sex card per se when I'm looking at it, the sacred sexuality. I think it's more about recognizing your primal self through that. There's a lot of awakening to be happening over the next week. A lot of awakening. We have a lot of energy coming in. It's the December. We're going to be coming up to the cold moon, which is that cold moon is a time of rest and restoration and kind of like planting the seeds that you want for the coming year. And so I'm using this concept when I'm looking at it as in this is the time that we're really going to be encouraged to leave behind the things that distract us so that we can get on board with what we have as our true intention, life purpose, what we were created and brought here for, body, mind, and spirit. So I hope you enjoyed today's reading. Do me a big favor. Love this video. It pushes it up in the algorithm. If you would share it, that would be great. And comment where you're watching from. I'm always interested to know where you are watching from. So without further ado, because I've got a client waiting, I think they were a little nervous about coming in. Peace, love, and harmony. Have a beautiful day.